Hello, this is a sideshow, and I'm Theodore Parker. Today is Friday, December 22nd, 2023. And in this area of Kentucky, the temperature is around 30-some degrees, going up to 58, and mix of sun and clouds. Sunrise today will be around 7:50 a.m. here in this Lexington, Kentucky. Sunset at 5:21 p.m. Wind around 2 miles per hour. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in this area, the highs will be in the high 50s with light rain. So, this is the weekend, Friday. I can hear some TGIFs going off in the background for some folks. When doing your shopping and having your food, eating, shopping. Maybe some stress involved in there, a little bit getting prepared for Monday, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So, if you're watching the sideshow on Facebook and Instagram, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And talk about it on WhatsApp. And if you're watching the sideshow on YouTube, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, the sideshow coffee cup. Buy from me for $17 plus shipping and handling. The sideshow logo on it, black ceramic, 11-ounce dishwasher safe. Pay me through Cash App, $TR Parker 1. Sideshow coffee cup. So it being Friday, weekend ahead. Looking at some items in the news, as I like to say. Let's start off with this. UK comes home with win against Louisville, 95-76. But, just as important, Santa Bradshaw and the Wildcats spread holiday cheer. Every year, the Kentucky basketball team hosts a holiday party for Lexington families in need. Yesterday, which at that time was 12/18/23, after the UNC game, the team opened the doors of the Wildcat Coal Lodge to 10 families, with the players serving dinner and handing out presents. The gifts included shoes, toys, TVs, and even rent checks. In the middle of it all, 7'1" Aaron Bradshaw, who donned a Santa suit and gray Crocs. So Kentucky continues to impress as a team and with individual play on and off the court. On that note, all of us are aware that people around the world have been experiencing natural disasters and are still in the process of recovering. So, if you are not one of those actually helping in their recovery, at least have them in your thoughts this holiday season. Being mindful of those whose situations is not the same as yours. Going outside the country for a minute, Herm's billionaire to leave more than $6 billion to his gardener. So that sounds enough to open your ears to or be alert to, if nothing else, $6 billion to his gardener. So here's the story. First of all, according to Bloomberg, the Herms family is the world's third wealthiest. So 80-year-old Nicholas Peck is a descendant of the Hermes founder who lives in Europe and is worth $13 billion. Made a contract with a charity called Socrates Foundation, which he founded, to leave his fortune to the organization. Its mission is to support journalism and a civil society. That's fair enough. Now he has had a change of heart. There is a clause in the contract agreement that says that if he has children, then they would get half of his fortune. And if he has a son, then he would get half of his fortune. So, that being said, Nicholas does not have any natural heirs. So he plans, or has expressed, that he was going to adopt his gardener, who is 51. And that will put the gardener in the position of, at the very least, getting $6 billion. So how's that for a turnaround? President Biden breaks silence on Colorado decision to ban Donald Trump from 2024 ballot. He supported an insurrection. That's his comment. So, to add a little more to it, he did say in a news clip that he would leave it to the courts to decide, but that has already been established. You have all seen it. Ohio State head coach Ryan Day faints when told 5-star wide receiver Jeremiah Smith has signed. That's a standalone item. So here we have this next one. And I kind of included it because so many times court decisions involving big money does not actually result in the paying of the big money. So former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, associated with Donald Trump since then, is ordered to pay $148 million immediately, and that was the operative word, immediately, as judge warns ex-mayor could try hiding his assets to avoid paying Georgia election officials he defamed. So these Georgia officials happen to be 2 black women, and the article reads as follows. Sometimes there's details and nuances that only reading the article will allow you to have access to. So I'm going to share it with you at this point. It starts, the judge overseeing the defamation case brought by 2 Georgia election workers against Rudy Giuliani has ordered the former mayor pay up immediately, warning that he may try and hide his cash to avoid paying the pair. Giuliani, 79, was ordered on December 15th to pay $148 million in damages to Ruby Moss and Shay Moss. His lawyer said at the time he was unable to pay, and on Tuesday petitioned the court to allow him to delay payment while he appeals. On Wednesday, Judge Beryl Howell ordered Giuliani to pay up, saying there was a real risk he could try and defraud them. Giuliani has never denied that he has taken steps to hide his assets from judgment creditors and has offered no affirmative pledge that he will take no steps to do so, Howell wrote. Howell said he has failed to contend, let alone demonstrate with documentary or other proof, that he cannot pay some of the money and pointed out that he owns homes in New York and Florida. She said his claims of having no money are difficult to square with the fact that Giuliani affords a spokesperson who accompanied him daily to trial. The former mayor of New York was seen on Tuesday browsing a Madison Avenue jewelry store, unbothered by the huge sums he now owes. In August, he put his 3-bedroom Manhattan apartment on the market for $6.5 million. At the end of October, he dropped the price to $6.1 million. Giuliani's lawyers have said he is likely to file for bankruptcy protection, but because the $148 million is considered an intentional tort, that does not get him off the hook. On Monday, after he accused Freeman and Moss of lying, they sued him again. Giuliani, once known as America's mayor for his leadership after 9/11, doubled down on the defamatory statements even after the second defamation suit. He said last week's verdict was due to the fascist system run by the Biden regime. They are suing me in order to lie to them, Giuliani told Newsmax Bob Smith on Monday night. I'm sorry, I can't do it. If I showed you the evidence right now, people would say that what I said was absolutely true and there's no support for it. Giuliani claimed the judge reached the decision not based on any evidence, but based on the fact that I didn't turn over some financial documents. Despite declining to testify in his own defense, Giuliani insisted he was not given the chance to make his case. He said his claims of cheating were supportable despite no evidence being brought forward in their favor. I have no doubt that my comments were made and they were supportable and are supportable today, Giuliani said. I just did not have an opportunity to present the evidence that we offered. He added that he didn't testify because it didn't seem like it was going to do much to persuade anybody. Giuliani appears to have an ally, former President Donald Trump, in his corner. I think it's so sad what happened to Rudy, Trump told DailyMail.com during a campaign briefing in West Palm Beach. He characterized Giuliani as a great patriot and the greatest mayor in the history of New York. Giuliani spent the week inside a federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. as a jury pondered the defamation claim by Freeman and Moss, who said he turned their lives upside down as part of his election overturn effort in Georgia. The former New York mayor asserted that the duo pulled suitcases of ballots from under a table at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta during the 2020 election count, a claim that was debunked by Georgia Secretary of State investigation. The mother-daughter duo said Giuliani's lies left them scared to leave their homes and unable to attain employment. The jury deliberated for 10 hours before returning with a unanimous verdict towards $75 million in punitive damages and $20 million each for emotional distress, plus an additional $16 million to Freeman and $17 million to Moss for damage to their reputations. The total $148 million appears to be far beyond Giuliani's ability to pay. Although his net worth climbed to $30 million as he raked in securities consulting contracts after 9/11, Giuliani is struggling to unload his Manhattan co-op and defend himself from a sexual harassment suit brought forth by a former employee. Speaking outside court Friday, Freeman said money would never solve her problems. I can never move back into the house that I call home. I will always have to be careful about where I go and who I choose to share my name with. I miss my home. I miss my neighbors, and I miss my name, she said. Moss called Giuliani's lies devastating and added, our greatest wish is that no one, no election worker or voter or school board member or anyone else ever experiences anything like what we went through. So that's a take on Giuliani's defamation case. Speaking of who said what, you're tired and boring just like you were in bed. Mariah Mills goes off on Zion Williamson again in unhinged rant. All of us are familiar with the name Zion Williamson, and it seems that he does know Mariah Mills, and Mariah Mills knows him. Details notwithstanding. And if you're like me, when I was watching Zion Williamson at Duke, I was ready to watch him play in the NBA. Since coming into the NBA, he has played 52 games, for whatever reason, in 3 seasons. And each season in the NBA consists of 82 games. So you do the math. And those sports commentators who have commented, for the most part, and I would say usually are, people who have played the sport themselves. So they're in a position to comment. Now, I guess the only question is, does Zion Williamson want the money that the NBA pays for playing the game? There you have it. Now that it's come out that President Trump's name has been taken off the ballot in Colorado, some other things have hit the news over the past couple of days, and it's regarding Trump team fires back at claims that ex-president smells. So at first it might be pondered as to whether or not they're referring to his court cases or his personal hygiene. But anyway, the article taken from the Independent reads as follows. Adam Kinzinger, a former Republican representative, encouraged people to wear a mask when they were in the presence of former President Donald Trump due to his apparent odor. Mr. Kinzinger, a vocal critic of Mr. Trump, took to his Twitter account this week to insinuate that the former president possesses a strong smell. I'm generally surprised how people close to Trump haven't talked about the odor, Mr. Kinzinger wrote earlier this week. It's truly something to behold. Wear a mask if you can, he added. The accusation garnered a lot of attention on the platform, with many mocking the former president for his alleged smell. When reached for comment about the accusation, a spokesperson for Mr. Trump returned the insult to Mr. Kinzinger. Adam Kinzinger farted on live TV is an unemployed fraud, the spokesperson said in a statement provided to the Independent. He has disgraced this country and disrespects everyone around him because he is a sad individual who is mad about how his miserable life has turned out. Mr. Kinzinger did not describe what the former president smelled like, but critics of Mr. Trump have mentioned the former president as a distinct smell. In an interview with Mary Trump, the niece of Mr. Trump, earlier this year, comedian Kathy Griffin recalled that the former president smelled like body odor with kind of like scented makeup products. Donald has a distinct smell that doesn't get enough press, Ms. Griffin said on the Mary Trump show. Ms. Griffin spent a brief time with Mr. Trump while appearing as a guest on The Apprentice. Mr. Kissinger worked adjacent to Mr. Trump while serving in the House of Representatives during the former president's term, though he never supported Trump. After the January 6th attack on the Capitol, Mr. Kissinger took a more aggressive opposition approach to the former president, joining his colleague Liz Cheney on the House Select Committee to investigate January 6th. In 2021, Mr. Kissinger left Congress and became a senior political commentator at CNN. So, there you have it, comment and response. So that's just a few items that I took notice of today, Friday, December 22nd, 2023, weekend and prior to the 2023 Christmas holiday. But one other thing I would like to comment on, and that's springing off of the Zion Williamson thing with Mariah Mills. Here lately, there's been a fair amount of men ending up in court for things that they have done. And whatever the news media shares with us, we have access to that information. So I'm going to weigh in on it like this. For future reference, since, the past is the past, can't change that. For future reference, men, when you are, talking to a woman, and, with intents of being romantic, okay? You have this little language that you use and phrases that you employ, to get her attention and to make her feel favorably about you, okay? And then once some feelings are developed, then the conversation continues. It may take a little different turn depending on the topic. Anyway, no matter how involved you may be with a woman or how much you care about her, whether, whatever your feelings extend to, as a man, you have to bear in mind at all times that she is a woman. A woman. Please do not expect her to act and react as you would as a man in situations that your manly mind tells you are simple and dry cut or seen plain as the nose on your face to understand. That's not going to happen. She's going to be a woman, and she's going to react like a woman. And no matter what your expectations are, you still have to bear in mind that she is a woman. So do not expect her to act or react as you would as a man. We each have our roles in a relationship. And it would be good to pay attention to how those roles apply for the success of any interaction with a female. The day after Christmas, Kwanzaa starts and ends January 2nd, which will put us into the new year. That's it. Hashtag